Wow. So I just figured out this technology that I've been using to do these live broadcasts. I can do all kinds of things. Check this out. Bam. Oh, look at that. So cool. I could do different cameras. And you know what? You can't, if that's not enough of me, check this out. There's two of me, two angles. Wow. This is groundbreaking. I didn't know that I could do that with this technology. But, so I wanted to get with you. I got some other piece of this new technology that I got that I'm going to show you too. I wanted to get with you because if you saw the tagline on this, then you've probably been hearing all about the hustle. There's a couple really intelligent people talking about the hustle and how you got to hustle. And if you've been listening to any of my videos, I have a little bit of take on it. It's a little bit different, and I haven't gone into why. And a lot of people come at me and like, no, you have to hustle, you have to hustle. So the thing is that hustle is kind of like just code. Well, let's actually back up. What does the word hustle to even mean, right? Most of the time people don't even know what this word means. So I actually took a screenshot of this. I'm going to bring it up for you. And if you think you know what it means, type in what the word hustle means to you. I would like actually really would like to hear what you think hustle means to you and how that fits in your life. And before I show this up, because even if you're not watching this live, the interaction is going to be very interesting because it can mean, words mean different things to different people. And the thing is, the energy of the word is, it's just a symbol for a certain meaning. So if you look at the word hustle, which has been like, I hear it all the time. I hear it from so many different people that they're just making the hustle. They're doing the hustle. They got to get through. They've been listening to a lot of Gary Vee, and the guy's a brilliant marketer, great businessman. He's very successful. Not to take anything away from him. And hustle is one way to get there. But wait till you see what hustle actually means here. So I'm going to pop that up for you. Hustle. So hustle is actually to force someone or to move hurriedly in a unceremoniously and specified direction, obtained by force or persuasion, a busy movement and activity, to a fraud or a swindle. That's a hustle. So if you're hustling, you're doing one of those four things. If you're hustling, I mean, if you're a busy movement and activity, like that, you're not getting anything done when you're just busy and making activity. I'm all from taking action and making activity, and that's the way it's trying to be used. But if you actually look at the definition of the word hustle, you've got no intention, you've got no inspiration, you've got force, you've got coercion, you've got persuasion. Persuasion's a lot of times manipulation. You got busy. You got fraud. You got swindle. None of those freaking words want to like actually resonate with me and how I want to live my life. And I'm watching everybody trying to do this hustle. And it's really just code for another limiting belief that we've had for so many centuries that have really hurt us. And that is, it's hard to make money, or you have to work hard to make money. Hustle is code for like work harder. Work harder. Yeah, just take more action and you'll get what you want. And that is a possibility. That is one route. That is absolutely one route to doing this. But I'm going to tell you why this is not the only route. So I'm going to pull away the hustle for a second here. And I'm learning this technology, so bear with me as I'm doing this. And I figured I'd sit like this thinking that it would actually be a little better set up. And maybe what I'll do is I'll actually turn this camera a little bit. So maybe I have a little bit more room for this stuff as I sit back. Not that much, huh? Let's see if we can do that a little better. I think we can. Nope. That way. I think that way is probably better. So let's hide the word hustle, okay? Yeah, to make shit happen. Well, that action is actually what makes shit happen. Hustle is a way of making shit happen. And that's like being busy, being forceful, being persuasive, being swindly, being like not nice about things. It's not like, that's not how I roll. So it doesn't really feel good to me. So I talk a lot about having purpose. So before there's any action that I want to take, that I'm going to take, I want to make sure it's going to be aligned with my purpose. So and this is how I avoid getting into the hustle of things, is I make sure it's aligned with a deeper meaning to me. So let's just look at purpose real quickly here. And so purpose is the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. There's like a reason for being. There's a reason for doing things. There's an intention. A person's sense of resolve or determination. Without the purpose, the reasoning, the resolve, the resolution, New Year, right? Then what's the point in doing the action? What is really the point? So we can go farther here and say, okay, it's a particular requirement or consideration, typically one that is temporary or restricted in scope or extent. So pensions are considered as earned income for tax purposes. So that's where it's a relation, that it can be used as a relationship tool. Something is related to something else. So as a verb, though, that's the thing that takes action. Purpose is to have one's intention or objective. So when you actually are intentional about what you do and you know this is the outcome that you are trying to create, that's your intention. Now, when there's something that calls to you, that's bigger than you, this is often like the purpose. This is why that something's important to you. The purpose could be to feed your family. It could be to be a better father or husband or friend. Or it could be to be closer with God. Your purpose could be to make your life better physically and your health better, and that's your purpose for your diet, right? So you can have purposes in all kinds of areas of your life. It can be in your relationships. It can be in your spirituality. It can be in your wealth. It can be in any one of the categories that you want to choose, your health and fitness, your mental attitude. Anything that you're intending to take an action on should have some kind of purpose, some kind of meaning behind it. Because if not, then you are actually just hustling. Then you are just being busy. And I don't want to just be busy. I want results. I want to usher in heaven on earth. That's what I'm here to do. That's my overarching purpose, is to actually usher in heaven on earth. And what does that look like to me? And what heaven on earth looks like to me may be different than what it looks like to you. There's going to be a lot of similarities, I guarantee it. However, it's going to be different between me and you. You might be into racing cars or mountain biking or skiing or whatever it is, or crafts making or something I don't even know that exists. And that would be your heaven on earth. And that should be actually your purpose, is to usher in your heaven on earth. And that's what I've been practicing so much, is to really create my heaven on earth and show people how this is actually really possible. But having a purpose behind what you are doing, why you are doing it, the results that you want, is going to make a huge difference in the quality of your life. It's so incredibly important. So if you're watching this right now, tell me, is this vibing with you, or is this sound like crazy talk? And I'm totally okay if it's crazy talk, because honestly, we're all crazy. We're all a little delusional. So if you have purpose, what ends up happening, if you have a reason that's bigger than just yourself, a lot of times the purpose could be to get six-pack abs. Is one of my purposes. But more importantly, I want to live long enough to meet my grandchildren. I haven't had children yet, so I got to make sure I take really good care of this body so that I can actually live long enough to see my grandchildren and maybe even my great-grandchildren. So that having that idea in my mind actually makes me concentrate more on my health than just the goal for myself, or the purpose for myself to have six-pack abs, which really has no purpose besides saying I did it. It really doesn't mean anything. It's just a little bit of vanity and a little bit of oh yeah, pat myself on the back, I accomplished a goal. But the reality is, taking care of myself allows me to spend more time with my wife in doing more exciting things. It allows me to, when we do have kids, be a better father and be active with them. I'm turning 40 next week, and that is going to be a big groundbreaking change, right? A lot of people think that's a big number. Me, I feel like, quite honestly, I feel better than I did when I was 20. And that was because I've had purpose. I've been purposeful with my health. But there's more than just my health. There's my finances. There's my spiritual connection. There's all kinds of things. So if you're just worried about the hustle is just activity. It's just busy activity. It's swindling. Like the definition, and for those of you that might have just popped on, I'm just going to pop the hustle back up here, right? If you look at this, fraud or swindle, that is your noun here, and the verb is to force someone to move hurriedly or unceremoniously in a specified direction, like corralling like cattle. So if you're hustling and somebody's helping you, getting you to hustle, they're pushing you to go in some random direction that you don't necessarily want to go. They're forcing you to do it. Or they're taking it from you by a forcible or swindling action or some kind of persuasion. Like when my watch got stolen, one of the things that I learned when I was a kid was in Grand Central, or actually 42nd Street. I was trying to get a fake ID. I ended up losing all kinds of money, including my jewelry. I got hustled. It's not what I want to be doing on a daily basis. I don't want to be the hustler. If you're a hustler, you're a swindler. You're like taking advantage of people. So if you have a purpose that is bigger than you, there's some kind of thing, what happens is this really cool thing, inspiration. You get inspired. You know, I'm going to even switch this around because this way I can look at this thing and maybe try to read this and not completely cover my face. There we go, backwards. So, yeah. So that inspired is being mentally stimulated to feel something, especially to do something creative. Now, think of the act of inspiration. You want to be inspired. And inspiration is actually going to make you, it's not even going to make you do anything. Hustle is going to make you do stuff. It's going to force you to do stuff. Inspiration is going to like give you some drive to do something. It's going to give you the courage, the creative energy. The stimulation, as it says right here, that I wish that you could see my mouse. I'm just scrolling over here. The process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something, especially to do something creative. The quality of being inspired, especially when evident in something. That's not a good definition because it's just uses the same word. A person or thing that inspires, right? Somebody that actually stimulates you mentally to feel or do something. Somebody that's an inspiration. Or a sudden, brilliant, creative, or timely idea. And then you have the drawing in of breath, inhalation, inspiration, which is really interesting because when you inhale, you're taking in spirits. So inspiration is actually, every breath is an inspiration. So you can actually tie into your own breath. And I didn't catch this when I was just doing this earlier. But really, when you tie in your own breath, when you take that inhale, that's the moment the creative energy is coming inside of you and stimulating your brain mentally. If you breathe deeply and you breathe a lot and do breathing exercises, you'll feel your body hum. You'll feel that stimulation. And a lot of times it'll go up to your brain, depending on how you do the breathing. It could be in your body or it could be in your brain. So if you want inspiration, all you got to do is breathe. Of course, listening to a video, talking to somebody that's done something that's being creative, these things it's contagious because inspiration is an emotion, and that emotion is just an energy leaving your body. So what you want to do is when you have this purpose, you will have inspiration. And that's what the key is for me to actually being successful over sitting there and hustling. Because when I was hustling, I was getting shit done. A lot of times it was the wrong stuff to be getting done, and I was exhausted. And I might have had a high level of energy that would actually push me through the day, but then I had nothing left, especially after weeks. Like, you see all kinds of people with these autoimmunes and adrenal fatigue and their hormones going all over the place. That is a result of the hustle. You hustle, you're going to get in trouble. Sooner or later, you're going to burn out. But if you're inspired, you're pulled in that energy by your deep breath, that you have a purpose, you have a reason for being, a reason why you're doing what you're doing. You have an intention behind the action. You'll get inspiration and you'll know the best action to take and how to do it. And if you haven't been practicing this, it's okay. It will take a moment to get to you because there's so much busyness telling you need to do 100 things. You don't need to do 100 things. You need to do like 3 to 5 things on a daily basis, and they need to be the most impactful things that you can do, not all the other busy stuff. And a lot of time with all the other busy stuff, we don't even see one impactful thing. This happens like all the time, and I watch it happen to people. They get burnt out, and they're exhausted, and they're like, how come you're sitting on the beach like totally calm here and the sky is falling? I'm like, because guess what? I have purpose. This sky falling, this situation has nothing to do, this life situation, this moment has nothing to do with me creating my life's purpose. It has everything to do with me embracing my life's purpose. I don't have to hustle out of this. There is no fear. Everything is going to be just fine. It always is. Every morning I wake up, and the time I don't, the day I don't, then there really is nothing to worry about because I'm not even incarnating in this body anymore. So when you're got the inspiration, what ends up happening is you start being obsessed, right? So I got this obsessed definition up here. And I thought it was really interesting about obsessed because I use this word really often. And every definition I saw for this word had this connotation to it. So it was preoccupy or fill the mind of someone continually, intrusively, and to a troubling extent. Now, the end of this, to the troubling extent, I think that really is a judgment, right? And we know whether we should judge or not, like this is right or wrong. And that's where we get into trouble a lot of times by sitting there saying, well, this is the wrong thing to be thinking. The reality is, if something gets stuck in our mind and it's playing a loop over, it's giving us a message. When we have too many different thoughts, that's like out of alignment. When we have the same thought over and over again, that's the one that needs the attention. That's the one that needs the action. And sometimes that action could just be actually letting go of the fear. And that's when it's fear, it's a matter of just letting go of the fear because what you resist persists. So if you can obsess and train your brain to actually be preoccupied and filling your mind, like all your thoughts, to be revolving around your purpose and become obsessed with your purpose, whatever category of life you choose, then what ends up happening is you start getting the inspiration and things start happening automatically for you. The problem comes for us when we get obsessed and it's over something that we can't control. And this has happened to me. Like I used to have sleepless nights. I remember having sleepless nights and I was worried that girlfriend cheat on me or lie to me or somebody stole from me. And I would go over and over in my mind and I would think about how this person hurt me. And the more that I did that, I just gave them the power. And the moment that I stopped doing that and realized, you know what, they were just doing what they needed to do. And maybe I didn't even understand it. Maybe I just had to say that enough. They clearly needed it more than me. But they stole from me. They clearly weren't getting what they needed from the relationship if they cheated on me. They were clearly insecure. You know, they clearly were scared to tell me the truth that they lied to me. And that's on me. So I can switch how I frame and approach that. And that started allowing me to look at obsession as my choice what to obsess about. And yeah, it can be intrusive in a way because you're so excited by it. But if it's feeling good, it becomes, your obsession actually refuels the inspiration. That's what ends up happening is as you're mentally stimulated to do or feel something. So when you're obsessed, it's like it's automatically doing that for you. It's automatically taking over your mind. So that's where you get this unconscious competence in the background playing, is when you have an obsession with something that brings you joy or love. So I like to look at this definition. I tried to look up for a better word. And if you know a better word than obsess that doesn't have the negative components that this is saying is to a troubling extent. I mean, I don't know why it would be troubling if I'm obsessed with what I love. I'm obsessed with making my wife smile. I'm obsessed with making my cat purr. I'm obsessed with bringing home money and doing it in ways that actually help society. I'm obsessed with doing videos like this and trying to bring awareness to people that will allow them to actually manifest like a ridiculous life. Heaven on earth, nothing less. Heaven on earth, it's here. It's up to every one of us to clear this guy up and bring it into our awareness. It's all around you, and you can start by seeing one thing that reminds you of heaven, of an idea of heaven. And that might be a smile, that might be the eyes of a child, it may be your pet, it may be a piece of art, it may be a piece of furniture, it could be my face. I'm totally okay with that. Whatever it is. So when you get obsessed with something that you really love, what actually happens is this cool thing. You get driven. You get driven. And driven is really operated or moved or controlled by a specific person or source of power. So in this case, you are driven by your purpose. That thing that it is that you want ends up taking over you. You end up becoming it. And that's why you can't have anything that you can't become. That's why a person like Elon Musk accomplishes such greatness, because he embodies this air of greatness. It's not because he's in the right place at the right time or because he had an easy childhood or spoon-fed. It was because he was driven and he had by this source of power, by this purpose, by this desire to know more. He got obsessed with science fiction as a kid, and it just took hold of him. And he didn't get like the interruptions that most of us get going to like the schools that we go to that beat us up and tell us we have to be, listening to authority and following these rules and be this person that's not our true self. Somehow he escaped that, and that's why he's had so much greatness consistently. Now, the thing is, there is a disadvantage to that. And maybe he didn't completely escape it because he's been in the face of the media and he's cried on like 2020 and 60 Minutes, one of the two, maybe both, and really got broken down by people as he's trying to do great stuff. He didn't have the capacity to deal with some of the pressures at a certain point in time because he didn't undergo the trauma that the majority of us have gotten to go through, like myself. I've gone through, I did a video last night on the traumas that I've gone through. Those actually allow me and give me the capacity to deal with when outcomes that I didn't want to occur come at me. Now they kind of just, I don't even want to say they bounce off. They just kind of like go right through me. It's like, it's completely meaningless. And that's because I have a purpose. My purpose is to usher in heaven on earth. And I'm doing that. Like, I'm really, really happy every single day. I have like amazing days, and not that they're going exactly as I planned them to go, but I'm really happy with what's being given to me. So I've got the choice of creating with the universe, co-creating with the universe, letting the universe know better, or source or God, whatever you want to call it, actually know better than me. So if you get rid of the idea of this hustle, right? So let's just pop back to hustle here. And guys, please comment. I'm going to look at that too. But if you get back to this idea of hustle, I look at this now, and if you're a hustler, like, do you want to be a hustler? Do you want to be busy movement and activity? Do you want to be fraud or a swindler? Like, that's the hustle. That's really what hustle is. So if you're using this term a lot about taking action, making activity, I urge you, I encourage you, I invite you to change it and start saying, I'm going to take inspired action that is in line with my purpose. It's intentional. It's intentional action. Like, this action has a meaning behind it. So, yeah, Ted. So Ted commented here, I don't know when, but, he can relate to being drained by hustling like every day. I've been there. It's insane. If you are truly hustling, you can't keep up. Last night, one of the questions that got brought up to me was how I maintain the energy. Part of it is this guy right here. I have purpose. It's not the hustle. The hustle will drain the crap out of me. I will be exhausted every time when I'm pushing. And there's times where I am pushing to do more than I could have done. But it's still not hustling. It's not hustling. It's just giving myself a little bit more of a push to expand myself for growth versus, what is it? Swindling? Fraud? It just is crazy to me that this is the word that I hear more often than not now. And the thing is, not one of them that I've been talking to had the intention of saying I'm being a fraud or I'm swindling. What they're saying is I'm taking as much action as I can because Gary Vaynerchuk said for me to do it. Which, again, you can take as much action as you can and just keep pushing yourself, keep doing that, and then you run out of steam, and then what are you? You're exhausted, unhappy. So if you want to know for sure if you are in your purpose, there's one really easy way to tell. So, and if anybody has an idea of what that is, the easy way to tell if you are in line with your purpose, if you are feeling like you are inspired, if you are feeling like you're driven, it's this thing right here. If you've got like a true natural smile on your face, then you are living your purpose. So, Ted, I just saw you pop up here that you hustle and you don't want to be known as a hustler, right? So, but the thing is, if you're banking, then you're going to be known as a banker. If you're a bricklayer, if you're laying down bricks, you'll be a bricklayer. If you're speaking, you'll be a speaker. If you're acting, you'll be an actor. So that's just the way the language works. So that's why I invite you to say, I take inspired action. And then you become an inspiration. You become a man of inspiration. Or intentional action. I do things with intention, not with hustle. Do it with intention. Then you become an intentional person. And that feeling, that changes the energy of it. And when you change the energy of why you're doing what you're doing, you do it in a different way. It becomes more enjoyable. It doesn't drain you. It's the impact is much greater. People line up and help you with it. It becomes such a great feeling to just be in action. Whereas if you are busy movement and activity, or you're forcing somebody, or you're persuading somebody, then that doesn't feel good to me. That doesn't feel good to me. I don't want to be that person. I want to be present. I don't want to be busy. I want to be intentional and actionable and be having the conversation I need to be having. So Ted wants your smile back. Exactly, man. The smile goes away when you are doing the wrong things, when you're doing the things that you love to do, when you actually do what you really enjoy. The smile is just you can't get it off your face. That's the cool thing. And I totally get where you're coming from, because I did a lot of things and I wasn't having my smile. Actually, Alex Antonio Rodriguez, one of the photographers out at San Antonio Raceway, kept taking pictures of me. He's like, dude, you got to smile. And I was like, I'm not smiling. I feel like I'm happy. He's like, well, tell your face that. I'm like, geez, give me a break here. So I had to kind of force my smile a little bit. And that actually helped me to realize when I was out of integrity and out of my intention, because I was trying to make things happen. I was trying to go 1,000 miles an hour. I was trying to do everything. And guess what happened? The hustle consumed me. I stopped enjoying what I was doing. The energy that I was putting out was garbage compared to what is possible. Doesn't mean I wasn't getting things done. I was getting a lot of things done, and I was creating a lot of initiatives and getting a lot of content done and making things happen, forcing them to happen instead of inviting them to happen. So things were happening to me instead of because of me, instead of because I was allowing them to, because instead of even letting them happen for me, which is like the most beautiful thing, is when things just go and flow. And that's like, that's when you really get in line with your purpose. It's like, you realize this body, you're not this body. I'm not this body. Every thought that goes to this head, I'm not those thoughts. I'm the one listening to it. And I'm the one choosing which ones to fixate on. So if I choose the ones to fixate on choose to be obsessed, right? You choose to be obsessed and allow a certain thought preoccupy and fill the mind continuously. It's not to a troubling extent. Jeez. I went to grab myself some water. Instead, it becomes like actually to a very worthwhile, loving, helpful extent. Jeez. So, Vic, new business. Yeah, definitely, man. Starting off is, if anybody, actually, I know Ben, you've definitely been in this boat starting off the new business, and there's lots of times, and Josh, I know you have too. Ted, I think you have. I think you're an entrepreneur as well. Let me know. When you start off those businesses, there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of learning. There's a lot of action to be taken. Now, I always want to get rid of this word work because it's just action. It's just action to be taken. And I invite you, Vic, I know that starting off, you want to get as much done as possible. And sometimes we can do sprints of a lot of action, that busy movement to try to get a lot of things done. But I really invite you to consider, before you take any action, write down everything you can think of that needs to be done. And look at what the top 3 most impactful, the top 3 that are the most important are. And now do that. Just do those 3. And then go back to your list and see if anything gets added, and then see what your next 3 are. And you might find that the ones that you choose to do that are most impactful will really make a big difference. And then the ones that you didn't get to, they might take care of themselves. It's a weird little magic trick that I learned, and part of the manifestation that I do is I put it all down on paper. I've got it out of my head onto paper. And a lot of times what actually ends up happening is, if I keep just doing the ones on the top of the priority, the ones that are prior actually means the first one. But nobody was going to listen if I say just do the first one, then come back to the list. So do the top 3, the 3 that are the most, what you feel the most impactful. Or if there's something really urgent, right? There might be something urgent which creates some kind of impact, but it might be, you got to get back to this customer because it's part of your code of honor, right? Put that in the top 3. Do that. Do your top 3, come back, review them, and see if anything pops in your mind. Because a lot of times what will happen is we won't get good instructions until we've taken a few of them. Like GPS, when you're driving your car, you get one next move, and that's it. You just trust that next move is going to be the right move. And sometimes you don't. You'll zoom in the map so that you can actually see a bigger frame, and you say, okay, I'm not going to listen to this. I'm going to go my own direction. I'm going to use my intuition. And then it will reroute, but it will tell you what the next step is. It's the same thing with tapping into source. So check it out. See if that makes it a little bit easier for you. We got company. We got company right here. So I'm glad to hear you're getting your smile back too, Vic. And Ted, yeah, not punch the clock in 20 years. The first time I read that a moment ago, I just switched cameras because this guy, he just does this. To think he was a stray cat. So I actually, when I first saw haven't punched a clock in 20 years, I thought you meant like literally punched a clock. Because I forgot that I actually did that too. I forgot that was even a thing. So yeah, Vic, problem is getting overwhelmed with all the thoughts and what needs to be done. So yeah, that's one thing that really helps me is when I put it down on paper, then I don't have to think about it anymore because I know it's there. So I can just go back to it. And if I just take the top 3 or top 1 and just focus on that and just do that 100% and not worry about the rest, I can be present in the moment. I do a better job with it, better energy with it. I enjoy it. And then I turn back. So I invite you to try that on. And I would love to hear your feedback on that. So, yeah, right there. Narrow down the thoughts and focus on the right ones. And I also invite you to take this term, my problem is, and take that and the word hustle and drag it to your garbage bin or your recycling bin, depending on what kind of computer you're on, and delete it. Delete it from your vocabulary completely. Because when we say my problem is, it becomes our problem. It actually literally becomes our problem. So you could replace it with the opportunity for me is, my opportunity right now for me is choosing appropriately what needs to be done next. My opportunity for me right now is managing my time in such a way that I create more impact. My opportunity for me now is to be intentional with anything that I want to do and have a reason behind it and why that's the one to be doing right now instead of try doing everything. So that's something I like to try. So feel free to try that on. And you're welcome, man. I hope that this resonates with you and helps you with your business. I'm just getting started. I'm going to be launching the 1,000 Millionaires course in February here. I just want to make sure I can dedicate enough time to it. And my birthday is next week. I'll be traveling to Texas soon, first week of February. Don't tell anybody. So yeah, and actually, Ted, we do have time cards at the Raceway. So there are punch clocks still. I just forgot they existed because I couldn't do that. My time is very. My time doesn't exist. Time is not real. So, guys, thank you so much for coming in and commenting and all the feedback. And please share this if you got value out of it. Please spread this to other people. Tell people about what we're doing here. I really would appreciate it. I really want to grow this tribe, and I want to have a bunch of people helping me to usher in heaven on earth, because it is possible. That is why we are here, and it's just the pollution that's up here that leads to us having actions that are out of integrity, out of alignment, the mass pollution that is in the collective consciousness in society that's leading us to do some silly things that is preventing that from happening. But you can go anywhere out, walk out in nature, and you can see that we are in heaven and earth. And it's just our own pollution of our mind that disrupts that. So take your time. Look for the people that are in your lives. Look for the best in them, and really just try to find what about them reminds you of heaven on earth, and just watch how it changes who they show up as. So, yeah, definitely, Vic. Would love to get together, and I'll be there for probably about I think a week. We're going to be there. So, got a pretty packed schedule, but definitely would love to catch up with you. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Yes, Charles, I will be coming to San Antonio. I'll be coming to the Raceway. Thinking about doing like a little Raceway party, by the way, and just making a little event out of it. And maybe we'll do a little one of these talks before one of the races or something like that. Maybe I'll just get on the mic and do my little thing that I do sometimes, all about how I'm inspired. So, guys, thank you so much for seeing me and spending so much time with me. I really appreciate it. Please. Can't believe it's been 40 minutes already. So I got to get ready for dinner. I got dinner with some friends tonight. Have a great night. Get inspired. Know your purpose. Be intentional. Get obsessed. And you will be driven. So, guys, thank you so much. Have a great night. Peace out.